here we go. Oh, here we go, everybody. Hello, everyone. Guess what? We are back again. This is the second episode of Ketchikan Talks, where I will be interviewing. We're joined with the ordinary, extraordinary people of Ketchikan, Alaska, as I just have them on my show. And they just talk about the things that are going on in their lives, and it's the people of Ketchikan, of course, the people who live here on this island, Revillagigedo Island. I'm in the home today of Sally Balch, and Sally, I am so thrilled to have become reacquainted with her lately. When I first worked at Sheer Magic several years ago, many years ago, before she married the love of her life, John, John, as you may know if you're a local, is the paint guy, the infamous paint guy down at Madison Hardware. If you need paint, John's the one to talk to. I guess there are other people that can do the job too, but John he's an expert.
And he's the paint manager.
He's the paint manager, that's right. But I did Sally's hair at Sheer Magic many years ago and got acquainted with her then, and had the good fortune of getting reacquainted with her February 14th, when she ordered up, she saw on Facebook that we're doing singing telegrams. Dave Rubin and I are doing singing telegrams. She ordered one up for the love of her life, John, and we trotted on down to Madison Hardware and sang a little Valentine's singing telegram. So I would like you to make welcome to the Ketchikan Talks table, Sally Balch and Saffron, of course. Hello, Sally. Saffron has settled down considerably from when I first got here. She likes to nibble, and she'll nibble on your fingers in a heartbeat. Sally, thank you so much for agreeing to do this.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Sally, let's just talk about something. Where did you grow up?
I grew up right here in Ketchikan.
Right here in Ketchikan. So you're a Ketchikan, you're an Alaskan pioneer.
I am. I'm considered pioneer of Alaska, yes.
Very nice. I love that. And I don't meet a whole lot of those, or at least not so many that mention it that I would know about. You were born, we were just talking about this, you were born, almost born, in a taxi cab.
It was a yellow cab. My folks were out at Ward Lake, and my mom decided to go into labor, and old Booger Red rushed her into the hospital, and it was the old hospital, and I was almost born in the back seat of the yellow cab.
The Booger Red, he got you there in time, right?
He got us there in time.
So you were coming from Ward Lake, and he's so was there a phone out there, like a pay phone or something, to call a cab? Or I wonder how you probably wouldn't remember it. You weren't born.
I wouldn't have a clue how he ended up being out there. I think somebody went and called.
Somebody got a hold of a phone and called and got the cab and got you there just in the nick of time.
Yep.
And that was in
1969,
March of 1969, you said?
Yeah.
So you've got a birthday this month.
No, I was in June.
Oh, June.
June 20th
okay.
of 1969.
I just made that up all on my own.
Yeah.
Okay, June, so you've got a birthday coming up.
I do.
Yeah. And how many will that make for you?
That'll make 56 years.
56 years, because we were talking about, I think we graduated the same year, we were in the same graduating class, basically.
Yeah. In 1988, I went to Job Corps in Cedar Woolley, and I got my GED at Mount Vernon Community College there. Okay. And then when I came back to Ketchikan, probably 6 months later, I went back to school, and I got my high school diploma in 1990. So
okay.
I have both.
So we're right about the same. I would have, if we'd been in school together, we would have been coming up together pretty much at the same time. But
yeah.
Okay, so do you remember some of your teachers and people? Are some of those same people around that you think? You said Almondson.
Well, Leif Amundsen
was
one of my classmates in the 6th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And Ken Linder was my teacher then. And then, let's see, when I went to Revilla, there was Mr. Howland, Mr. Humlicker, no, Mr. Humlicker was in the 5th grade. Stallings, Mr. Stallings.
I've heard that name before.
They were there. Mrs. Howland, she became the principal later on, but I think she was there. And I can see her face, but do you think I can remember her name? She was my English teacher, and I can't remember her name. But yeah, those are the
people that were there. So what kind of subjects were your favorite in school?
Science.
Oh, really?
Science was one of my favorite, and math.
Uh-huh.
I took business math, and then in Mr. Stalin's class, I put together and plotted a trip to the Four Corners.
Oh.
Which
nice.
A few years, was it the year after I left school there and went south. But my brother ended up going on a trip that I had planned in one of my science classes.
Oh, really?
But I was doing rocks and comparisons.
Oh, okay.
And looking at different formations of rocks, and that was pretty. Archaeology was kind of fun. It was.
Oh, definitely. I can see.
Yeah.
I can see how that's a great place. There's out in the Four Corners, that area. There's a lot of things to look at for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you consider yourself a pretty good student, or what kind of student were you? Because you're still a studious individual. You're still
I
learning.
loved school. I loved being in school, and learning different things. My mind is like a sponge.
I can see that.
I took U.S. government with Mr. Howland, and ended up going to Washington, D.C. I think I was the youngest one there.
Wow.
And so I got to make that trip. And I got to meet our president.
Really?
I didn't think I was ever going to wash my hand ever again.
Oh, which president was the president at that time?
It was, oh, come on, Sully. He was a actor before he became president.
Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan, yep, that's it.
No kidding.
So yeah,
that's
awesome.
Amazing.
It was awesome.
What was that like?
Great tours. Oh my gosh, it was overwhelming for sure, but it was amazing. I never forgot going there, and it was probably the biggest trip I'd ever taken in my life by myself.
Oh yeah, that's really interesting.
Amazing. And, those were good days. Those were good times back then.
What time of year did you go?
Well, it was rainy and cold, so
maybe in the fall.
When we were there, so maybe in the fall, I think. Yeah.
So I know part of the year the cherry trees are in blossom, and they're just outstanding. They're just beautiful.
Yeah, wouldn't that be early spring?
Did you get to do a lot of sightseeing while you were there?
We did. We did. Actually rented a limo and went around Washington, D.C., and then went back to the hotel that we had. And then we had, of course, a bus, and we did things as a group, and then we were just let to go on our own, and yeah. So
you mentioned being in hospitality. So from there, after that time in your life, when you went on and got your degree, you went to an online course?
I did. Right? I went through Ashworth College out of our press, Georgia. Did an online course in criminal justice, and had to do. I had to finish that before I could take my course here in business management. So I got my associate in business here. So
you've got a wide range of interests.
I do. I really do.
Yeah. You just want to, and you just were talking.
I want to get into a little bit of everything. I want to do everything. Yeah. I know I can do it.
You absolutely. I have no doubt about that.
Every time I turn around, somebody says, "Well, you haven't got enough. You got experience. You just don't have enough education to back it up. You've got to have the education with the experience. So back to school I go.
Yeah, right.
Well, I figure where there's a will, there's a way.
That's true. And now things are kind of changing. I've been hearing about now it's less getting to where it's a little less focus on the degree and more focus on life experience. You're getting a lot of credit for life experience these days, which you have plenty of. And you're talking about you're also learning Spanish.
I am.
I love that.
My husband and I have been doing Spanish since the end of December. We've been practicing and learning.
I love that.
We have a tutor that comes once a week, Claire Bennett.
I was thinking
she
of her.
comes once a week to tutor us on our Spanish.
We love Claire.
So yes, we do.
When you were talking about Spanish, I was thinking of Claire. Like Claire should know about this. Claire should.
Yeah,
and
but
she is.
She does,
that's awesome.
and she has worked up at the college as an instructor up there, a professor. And she was my English and math instructor up there. She's the one that got me really into English writing. I can remember sitting there having a conversation with her, telling her how much I hated English. And I don't know how I'm going to do in your class. I just don't know, because this is not my forte, and I'm not that. Man, she had me going in a month. I was just like, I want more. Give me more.
She's amazing.
So, yeah.
And I'm sure she took that on as a challenge, like, oh, really?
I never really thought of it. She probably did, because she
Yeah.
turned my brain around, and if she can turn my brain around, she's got it on ball. She's going, because I'll tell you.
I love Claire.
She's an absolute, just a doll of a person. And,
she sure is.
And great teacher, and I just,
She's fun. She's just so fun, and she doesn't make it seem like work. It makes like, it's presented in a creative, clever way where this is fun. It's not work.
Pretty awesome.
¿Cómo se llama usted? ¿Cómo se llama? What is your name?
Yeah, what is your name? And it's Selena.
Selena. In Spanish, you're Selena.
Yeah.
¿Cómo está usted? How are you? ¿Cómo está?
Muy bien.
Okay, well, that's all I know. I know a smidge more than that, but not much. I can quote a few things, but
Look at my book.
Right, get the book out and Duolingo. So you're learning this through Duolingo, right?
We're doing it through Duolingo, and then also with Claire. That's
so great. So what do you think about Duolingo?
It's interesting. It has different facets. You say, you listen. It's got you typing the word out, and of course my brain, anytime it seems like it wants to go under stress, it just freezes up, and I got to go back and look and say, oh yeah, that's how it's spelled, and then because if you misspell it, you may not get it right.
Okay.
So it's I think it's great. It's a great starting place, and Duolingo just isn't about Spanish. They have, I think, 107 different languages.
Oh my goodness.
That they teach, and they teach music, and they teach math, and I'm also doing the math side of it as well.
That's
I started at the beginning and just working my way through.
That's so great.
Trying to get my brain to think about letters and numbers in math for algebra was really difficult. And now that I've got that started, I don't want to stop. So I'm trying to keep, if I see it on Facebook, if I see a math problem, and an algebraic expression, I'm figuring it out right now.
That's so
if you don't use it, you lose it. I don't want to lose
story.
it. Now that I've got it on board, I don't want to lose it.
That's so great. So Duolingo is an app, right?
It is an app.
It's
a free app.
It's a pre-app?
Free.
Oh, a free app. I think you said a free.
Yeah, I mean, you can pay, but
a free app.
But you can do it for free too. You don't have to pay.
Oh my goodness!
So every time it pops up, do you want to join, or do you want to? You can say no, thank you, and just continue on with what you're doing.
And you probably get more if you pay for it. But what's free is very extensive. It sounds like.
Very extensive. Yeah.
Not expensive, but extensive. You're
yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, I think I feel a nudge to get on Duolingo.
You should try it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, and you can meet friends. John and I do it together. So he's on my, I'm following him, he's following me, and we do lessons together. Keep your friend involved, kind of thing. And so he'll pop up there, and we'll do a challenge. So we're both working on the same level, and we can knock it out together.
Well, I
and
feel
then
inspired.
You earn points, and you get to stay in touch with your friends that way.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
So if would it be similar to Facebook where I could connect with you guys and say like, can you do that on the?
Well, you can no.
Okay, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work quite that way. You pop up and you'll see your name, and I can tap on you. Hey, let's do this together. Okay. So we can do the lesson, but you do your own lesson, I do my lesson, but it earns points together.
Okay.
Type thing.
Well, I think I gotta check that out. That just sounds like a lot of fun. And so, what inspired you to start learning Spanish?
My husband.
Okay.
He wants to take a trip to Costa Rica.
Oh,
and
nice.
So they speak a lot of Spanish down there. They speak English too, as we found out, but they speak Spanish. He wants to kind of understand the language. And
I think that's brilliant. Yeah. That's lovely. Yeah, that's so wonderful. Costa Rica, I've heard nothing but good things. I've never been there before, but I've heard really great things.
We've never been there before either.
But one of these days, and when you go, you'll be armed with some language. That's so, I love it, Sally. Yeah. So now what else you got going on? You've got this little tube thing here, I see.
Yeah, I have to have a little extra oxygen. My body doesn't expel the CO very well, and the oxygen helps, so I can keep maneuvering.
Okay, yeah, it's working. It's doing good stuff for you.
I had lung cancer in 2020. I had surgery, and they took part of my left lung. I did a wedgectomy, and it doesn't have the capacity to get that good air in where it needs to be.
Okay.
So
you need a little boost.
I need a little boost.
There you go. You got it.
Working on a lot of different medical stuff going on, but eventually the hope is I won't have to wear this anymore.
Yeah, I believe it.
And we can be moving around more.
Yeah.
Because it does, when you can't breathe, you get the air in, you don't move around a whole lot.
Yeah, it's a little
If you don't move around a whole lot, you gain a little weight. And when the weight hits, then you move even less, and it's a double-edged sword. So we got to get it stopped. We get to go in the other direction.
That's right, and you're doing that.
That's what we're doing.
You're working on it. Oh, I'm so proud of you for working on it, Sally.
What we're doing.
And Saffron here. Now, is she going to Costa Rica with you?
No.
She's...
No, somebody might kidnap her.
Yeah, no kidding.
She'd go with anybody. She's just a little lover.
So
she loves everybody.
She's
and everybody's the same. She hasn't got a mean bone really in her body.
No, she is a love for sure.
She is.
She did settle down though, didn't she? Took a few minutes.
And she does that, and then pretty soon she's just okay. Yeah, you're not fun anymore.
She's just all right. So Sally, let me ask you this: what was your first paying job? The first job that you remember that you got paid for?
The Ketchikan Daily News.
Really?
Was my very first paying job.
What did you do?
Stuffed newspapers.
No kidding.
That was my very first paycheck. I even got a copy of it.
Wow.
It's in my file somewhere, but I got a copy of my very first paycheck.
How old were you?
I was 14.
14.
Yeah, I think I was 14 then.
I bet that felt like big stuff, huh?
Oh, yeah, making $5.25 an hour. I felt really big stuff. I was making my own money.
Yeah.
And I did. I'm not being sarcastic. I thought that, man,
of course.
I was walking on air.
Of course.
When I got my first paycheck, man. I thought, man, I was rich. I was the richest person in the world.
So were you like, man, I can't wait to spend this, or did you tuck some of it away and save it, or did you have your goal on what you're going to do with the money?
Well, I had to pay rent.
Okay. Oh, really?
Oh yeah, my mom charged
yeah.
me rent.
Uh-huh.
So I think half my paycheck went to the rent,
Okay.
and another half of that went for groceries, and then I got a quarter of it left.
Okay. So
that's how that went.
That was more than you had before, right?
It was more than I had before. Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was kind of like having an allowance that we didn't get back then.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
But,
no, I love that.
Well, that's how it went. So I learned early on to take care of my bills. I mean, that seems harsh. It sounds harsh. But back then, I mean, at 16, I was living in my own apartment.
Wow.
I had my own place.
Kidding.
Yep. I was paying rent, working full time.
Wow, Sally, that's amazing.
Where the First City is now used to be called the Anchor Inn. There used to be a little restaurant in there. Actually, before the Anchor Inn, it was Jackie's Restaurant.
Okay.
And that's where I worked waitressing, and that was my first waitressing job. But I learned how to cook there. I learned how to waitress and do dishes. So
wow.
I was a one-man show there for a while, and kept the doors going on that place.
Wow.
So yeah, it was.
Wow,
you learned a lot.
Sally, okay, so from there, so you were late teens when you were working as waitressing, and then you went on, like, so at some point then you're working on getting your diploma, getting your GED and all this stuff, and you're kind of juggling a lot of things, because that's a big responsibility at 16 to have your own apartment. You're paying your bills and doing the. Did you have a car?
I did get a car.
So you're either making a car payment or you've
Well, I didn't have a car payment.
You just bought it out.
Just bought it outright, yeah. And that was a little Plymouth Arrow.
A Plymouth Arrow. What color was it?
It was brownish color. Yeah.
Little brownish
Plymouth Arrow. It was a little 4-speed.
Yeah. Good on gas.
Oh yeah.
That's for the times. Yeah. That's a great memory. Thinking about your first car.
That was my first car. Was a Plymouth Arrow.
And then gradually, at some point, you started getting into hospitality or taxi. You drove a taxi.
Well, I drove taxi for a few years. I did that off and on, and let's see, when I went into what we call hospitality. Do you mind?
I think we can quite see.
Trying to get front so she can throw her head back over my shoulder.
Scarf.
Yeah, she's a little. I went. Let's see. How did that go? I worked at Walmart, TSS. I got them backwards, I think. But back then, I worked for a while down at Jimbo's. That was before Jackie and Tom bought it. Scott's.
Yeah. Bar Harbor? Well,
no, I didn't work at the Bar Harbor. I worked for Mr. C's.
Okay, I remember Mr. C's.
That went in. Well, that was right. Yep, Phyllis Collop and Donnie.
Phyllis and Donnie, I remember.
Yeah, I worked for them off and on for a while, and then
enjoyed them a lot.
Yeah, they were some really awesome folks.
Great people. Yeah.
Oh, boy, I miss them.
I do too. I was just thinking about Phyllis just the other day.
There were Phyllis and Donnie. I miss her.
Yeah.
They're just gone.
I think it was
my aunt, Sandy Stewart. Do you remember her?
I might if I saw her.
Okay, she passed away though. But and then Gladys Collop or is it Collop? I call it Collop, but I don't think that's right. Yeah, they that was Aunt Sandy's mom, Gladys. That was Phyllis's daughter's name was Gladys too.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's why I remembered that. That's how I remembered her name.
Do you know, someone put on Facebook the other day, they put list some of the businesses that are in Ketchikan, that were in Ketchikan that are no longer, and I thought of Mr. C's, but I had already posted, and I was thinking about Mr. C's and Phyllis.
Mr. C's, then Hot Dog A Go Go.
Oh,
Where she put the
really?
window in and you can come by and grab a hot dog on the way through.
That's fun.
Yeah, she did. And then, like I said, there was you're right, the Bar Harbor in there. Out here was, made the best Reubens in town and the best pie at the time. Kay's Kitchen.
Kay's Kitchen, yeah, Kay's Kitchen.
Kay's Kitchen.
For sure. Yeah, that's a sweet little place, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah. You know, the Maddies used to be over.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Maddies.
Christopher Chapin. Him and I would run away from home and go sit on the rocks and they'd give us french fries to eat. I think they called our moms because they always seemed to know where we were at. There was no
getting away. No sneaking away.
My mom would show up.
That's funny. That's funny. You're busted again.
Yeah, we busted again.
Yeah.
We used to run away and go get french fries.
That's so funny.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's back then, you know. The community was so tight-knit back then. Everybody knew everybody. It didn't matter who you belonged to. You belonged to the community. So if you got in trouble by one person over here, you're going to be in trouble with your parents. But they're going to bust your butt over here. There was none of this, you know.
Right.
It was too close-knit, so nobody was getting away with nothing. And somehow, as the years went by, the community grew, I guess. I don't know, but it changed.
Yeah.
Our world changed here in Ketchikan.
Right. You know, I noticed that it seems to me like Ketchikan is very transitory. I mean, it has
now.
A lot of people coming through, and as the primary industry changes, and there's a lot of seasonal citizens, and you know, people that, it seems like a lot of people come. You know, for just a little while and move on, and then a lot of people think that they're going to just stay here for a little while, and they're here for 25 years, 35 years, you know, they're here for a lot longer than they intended. I'm one of those. I was just coming up for a couple of years, and I hear lots of people say they just came up on vacation.
Yeah, well, Ketchikan's one of those places you either love it or you hate it.
Right. And
there's no in between.
Right.
And they say if you make it through your first winter here, and you're still here in the spring, you're stuck. You've been hitched. I mean, it's an amazing country that we live in, an amazing place.
Yeah, it sure is. And you were just talking about the trees and planning a trip to the Four Corners when you were young.
When I look out my window here, I can look right here. I call this my ski slope up here. Oh. And it's a hillside that goes up. And I watch it change colors every year. You see all the browns and you see it coming back to life, and it's like new growth, and the browns are turning back to green, and I mean, it's just, if you look right out there, it's just absolutely gorgeous.
Well, it is.
And I watch it as it turns to fall, and all the yellows and oranges, and so I've got it all right here on my little ski slope.
That's a beautiful view.
And I see the snow when it comes down, and watching the fog, sometimes it comes over the top of that mountain like fingers, and it comes down. And it's just amazing. So the beauty here is natural. It's not man-made. It's just natural.
And clean.
Yes.
So clean.
Yes. And that's what I love about this. I can look out the other window and see the water, you know.
Okay.
As long as I can see my mountains and my water, I'm good.
And the tree, you were talking about the trees, loving the trees.
Yeah, loving the trees. You go south, there's no trees. You get into Seattle, Right. They've got the little, like the village up at Northgate or something, where they got all the cherry trees and stuff. But that's all man-made. It's cultivated in the middle of a cement world.
Right.
Here it's natural. Here it's untouched. And you see everything in its natural beauty, its natural state. You can't do that down south. Right. You go back to Colorado. In Colorado, there's no real trees there either. You've got a lot of dust and dirt, and I mean, you've got farmland and hay, and that's the thing I remember the most about Colorado was the winds and the hay. You know, sitting there and I'm watching the trains go by, and I do love the trains, by the way. But
were you in the eastern part of the state?
I was up in La Junta, Denver, La Junta area up in there.
Yeah, I know
And it's
right
real
where that
dry.
is.
And I remember watching it rain one day, and it was coming down, and it was coming down pretty good, but it never touched the ground.
Oh, it
Was
evaporated
like,
because
it evaporated
it's so
before
dry.
it ever touched the ground.
Right.
It was amazing to
Yeah,
watch. I mean, so it's, but here it's natural. Here it's, yeah. I don't know. I don't know that I could live anywhere else. Watching all the natural critters, the eagles. I mean, I even get a kick out of the seagulls flying around, you know.
Right.
But I mean, everything has its place here.
That's so it's so wonderful to love where you live, isn't it? And
It really is.
Do this is okay. So now Saffron is wanting to play a little tug of war. She is wanting to play some games. Well, Sally, do you have anything? Did we get it all covered? I see your husband is going to be home for lunch in just a little bit.
Oh yes, we got to feed him.
Do you think that we covered all the topics for now that you'd like to cover?
Oh sure, for now.
For now, but there's so many more to cover.
There's so much more we can cover.
Right, and like definitely. It's endless.
There's such a wealth of history here.
Yes.
And growing up, I feel very, very blessed. Growing up here in Ketchikan, I mean, even when we were living out in the logging camps, we were still part of Ketchikan. Because this is where we always came to do our shopping. This is where we bought our clothes. You know, whatever our needs were, we came to Ketchikan for. It seemed to be the hub. And so growing up, we've done that. It's always going to be a part of us.
So you lived in a logging camp. This is a big.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
My stepfather worked for Old Gildersleeve. So it's we've got a long history here.
Oh, I'm gonna put that right over there. She doesn't. Sorry about that. She doesn't quite know what to think about that. How was did you go to school in the logging camp? Did they have school?
We did. We did in Cape Pole.
That's very cool.
Yeah. It was a very one-room shack. And it was kind of cool because out in Cape Pole, all the trailers were lined up on one side. Then you had the road that come down, and on the other side you had the playground and the school. And one night, Mom got us all up, and we come out in the front window, overlook the playground. And here comes a sow with her 3 cubs.
Oh my.
And she puts them up on the merry-go-round and uses her head to turn the merry-go-round around. So they were out playing in the playground. And it was so fun to watch, and I'll never forget that.
You know what?
There's a lot of stories I could tell about Cape Pole logging camp.
You know what that says to me? That was not the first time that had happened because she knew how to make it work.
That's right. Well, she was sitting off by our trailer, in between, watching us kids play over there.
Oh my goodness, that is so cool.
Yeah.
How fun! Cool. How fun!
So, and I'm the oldest of 5 kids, so it was a lot of fun. A lot of shenanigans we pulled.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, we need to get back to this and talk about the shenanigans one of these days.
Oh yeah, parents tried to Hansel and Gretel us on them.
Oh
yeah, we had fun.
Yeah, that's a good way to grow up for sure.
Yeah,
really good way. I love it. Just love it. Well, Sally, I guess we'll just have to postpone this for another time for part 2. So I can just we'll say goodbye for now. And Sally, I want to thank you so much for taking this time to be here and visit with us and tell us a little of your story.
Thank you for having me.
It's truly my pleasure, and we'll do this again sometime. All right, and with you and Saffron, oh my goodness, Saffron is just she's a nibbler. She's got my finger. Okay, you're gonna have to turn that loose so I can turn the camera off, silly girl. You silly girl. She doesn't bite hard, but she
holds it.
Yeah, she just likes to hold it. Oh, I think she thinks my fingers are a bottle. Did you bottle feed her by any chance?
No, but yeah, we wondered the same thing.
Yeah, okay. Because
she's done this since we got her.
Oh, yeah.
We brought her back from California last time we went down.
Yeah, she
came back
does
home
like to nibble on the fingers, but it's not real hard. It's just persistent.
They say that's normal with little dogs. I don't know.
Oh, she's a cutie for sure. Just such a little love. Okay, well, as always, thank you all so very, very much for watching. And y'all come back now, you hear? Talk to you later. Bye-bye now.